the 2017 Ford F-350 Super Duty. Now, 2017 is a big year for Ford Super Duty pickup trucks because why? Well, this is the first time since 1999 they have been totally redesigned. I'm Jay and welcome to this latest episode of Car Buzz Unboxing Reviews, and I want to thank Future Ford of Sacramento for letting us come on down and film today. So the F-350, yeah, this is a Super Duty truck. I have to say this is probably, in fact, it is the biggest truck we have ever reviewed. So just standing next to it, it almost feels like you're kind of standing by a semi-truck, but you're not. And the moment you step inside, it's like, wow, this is actually a luxurious pickup truck. And well, that's because it is. And I'll get to more interior details shortly, but just first glances of this here, this is premium. And it doesn't really scream premium from the exterior. And I'll talk about its exterior design as well, but I just have to say that these Super Duty trucks, just like the regular full-size F-150, have really come a long way in terms of being more premium in just a few short years. And I don't expect that trend to stop anytime soon. Now, so that you know, just to get specific with this F-350 Super Duty here. Now, this one is the 4x4 crew cab Lariat with 176-inch wheelbase. This is the style side with a 3.55 axle ratio and the dual rear wheels. It's got an 8-foot bed, therefore it's considered the long wheelbase. Yeah, it is a big sucker. And looking at this interior, again, this is really nice. It's covered in black leather. It's got a standard 8-inch touchscreen with Ford's latest version, or actually it's brand new, Sync 3. It replaces my Ford Touch. Got a 60/40 rear bench. I'll show you that shortly as well. And none of these materials felt cheap in really any sort of way, and I was kind of expecting them to. And like I said, this is a big deal for Ford. The first Super Duties first came out in 1999, and both that and the F-150 lines are constructed using the same cab. Now, this is really the first all-new Super Duty since 1999, and the frame now is made from 95% high-strength steel, and the body, like the F-150, is made from aluminum. And of course, Super Duty refers to trucks that weigh over 8,500 pounds. And it's essentially everything from the Ford F-250 on upwards, including this F-350. You also have the F-450, etc., etc. But what I like about this, of course, is that if you need this to serve the entire family, that's not a problem. You can get 3 full-size adults in this rear seat very comfortably. And like I mentioned, from the outside, this thing really does look like a work truck. You expect to see this at construction sites, and, you know, you do. So it's kind of fun to picture a bunch of construction workers at, beginning or the end of the day, piling into a truck like this on their way home or on their way to work. And if you're getting leather seats, I don't know, I'd be a little concerned that, everything would get dirty so fast. And if you like the dashboard design of the new F-150, you're going to be very happy with this. It's the same overall general styling theme here. It's a bit wider, and you got that big Super Duty logo in front of the front seat passenger. But what I also like here is that all the dials and controls are big. I mean, you can wear winter gloves and be able to grip the volume and the dual zone automatic climate control. And again, that's an important thing because Ford is very good at building these Super Duty trucks. They know who buys them, and it's people who work in all weather conditions, rain or shine. Yeah, and here is Sync 3, 8-inch touchscreen here. And yeah, I am super glad that Ford ditched my Ford Touch. It was not a good system. They made it a lot better over the years, but it just had a lot of rebooting problems, and it was just time to completely start from scratch, and this was the result. And I have to say, yes, Sync 3, much bigger improvement. So let's talk about some safety here. Now, because this is such a big truck, I really wouldn't be too worried about somebody hitting you. It's in fact somebody else in the other car that is, well, they're the ones who might have a problem. But of course, this has driver and front passenger airbags, an advanced security pack, trailer sway control, and a trailer brake control as well. Hasn't even been officially crash tested by the US government, but for a truck this size, they really don't do it. There's no rush. And as you can see by the knob below the left-hand side air conditioning vent, you can switch between rear wheel or four-wheel drive. And I do recommend for a truck this size, go for four-wheel drive. It doesn't cost a whole lot extra, and you get a lot of off-roading benefits with that. And yeah, here's another premium feature, dual-zone automatic climate control. Again, you're seeing a lot of premium luxury features find their way in trucks like this. And I remember growing up, even as far back as the late 90s, the initial Super Duty trucks were not this premium. But look how wide that center console is. You could literally, I think, put a small briefcase in this compartment right here. And it just goes to show how wide these trucks are. So again, you think the Ford F-150 is big or too wide? And, well, this is even bigger. So how does this drive? Well, for starters, the engine, which I'll get to shortly, it's very quiet. And combined with the hill start assist, the moonbeam coil spring suspension, the reverse sensing and the rear view camera, it's nice to drive, but because this thing is just so big, it's a little difficult to maneuver. And those buttons there, those are for the auxiliary lights, in case you're wondering. And in case you didn't see this before, yes, this has a dual panoramic sunroof, or a dual panel sunroof as they like to call it. And that is part of the Lariat Ultimate Package. That costs an extra $3,740. You get an upgraded navigation system, this twin panel power moonroof, remote start assist, 10-way power driver passenger seats with memory, and heated and cooled front seats as well. And you also get this nifty thing within that package called a tailgate step, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a tailgate step, and I'll show you that in a moment too. But back to how this drives. Now, Super Duty trucks from Ford, they don't get the park assist and lane keeping systems from the F-150, and that's because these larger trucks, they still use hydraulic assist steering. And that's not the electric power steering system, because that ladder steering system, it can't deal with the massive front end loads of a heavy truck like this. And yeah, having those adjustable pedals, that's a good thing. So it makes it so that anyone of any size can drive this F-350. And of course, you have your basic driver's computer here, all the basic information that you need. Nothing special, but again, it's good to have. And this time it's geared towards specifically items that are relevant to this truck, such as towing, etc., etc. And of course, you have the gear shift on the steering wheel stalk side right there, right on the right, as opposed to having it on the center console. And I think that's the right thing. They don't put the gear shift selectors on the center console in big trucks like this, because people want that center console space. And again, there's those 10-way power driver passenger seats. And yeah, overall, very comfortable. And this is high quality leather. It's the same stuff that you find in the F-150. And I don't think the front seat passenger is going to have any complaints either here too, because when you're sitting in this F-350, it's just such like a commanding view of the road. You're not quite in, say, like a semi-truck, but you're pretty darn close. And I don't know, the experience to me was just, it's sort of fun. Like I said, in terms of safety, it's the other cars that should be worried about smashing into you or you hitting them. So yeah, the rear seat, like I mentioned, It's huge. Look at all of that leg room there. And yes, 3 adults can fit back here. Now, obviously 1 or 2 is better, but if you had to do 3, it's totally possible. Now, I did think those cup holders in that armrest there were a little flimsy, but again, I'm starting to get a little nitpicky here. And you also have this 110 volt, 400 watt power outlet. You know, stuff like this comes in handy. Again, Ford knows its customers for these Super Duty trucks, and power outlets like that are very important. Now, this is cool. It's this 60/40 rear bench flip up, flip down system, and you have that extra storage underneath. And it's just really easy to flip up and flip down. All right, so let's take a look at this bed here. I like that power gate right there. That's a nice feature. Ah, yes, there it is, that tailgate step. That's part of the Lariat Ultimate Package, which costs $3,740. I think it's money well spent, especially for that tailgate step, which really helps you get into this bed. Again, 8-foot bed. It's considered the long wheelbase version of the F-350. Yeah, you can you can get a lot of stuff back here. You really can. Even though this truck doesn't have it, you can get the spray-on bed liner and a few other accessories too. So just as an example, we're putting a couple of small bags, suitcases in the back, just to give you a basic idea. Now under the hood, now this is cool. 6.7 liter Power Stroke turbo diesel with 440 horsepower and 925 pound-feet of torque. Power is sent to either the rear or all 4 wheels through a torque shift 6-speed automatic. Now, adding 4-wheel drive costs $2,800 extra. And the turbo diesel itself costs $8,595. But let's listen to it. Yeah, like I said, about $8,595 for that 6.7 liter Power Stroke turbo diesel. Get it if you think you're going to need it. The base engine is a 6.2 liter gasoline V8 with 385 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. In many ways, having a diesel in a truck this size, it might be the smarter way to go. Again, it's going to entirely depend on your personal and specific usage for it. But again, about $8,600 for an upgraded engine. Yeah, that's quite an investment there. So, but Ford does actually expect nearly 2/3 of non-commercial buyers are going to opt for that diesel. So there you have it. Ford knows it's in demand there. So let's talk about the competition. Very easy here. You have the Chevrolet Silverado 3500 HD and the GMC Sierra 3500 HD. Those two are corporate twins. And of course the Ram 3500. Now all those started around $35,000 or so, give or take a couple of grand. Now the F-350 XL, that is the most basic one, begins at $33,705. The F-350 Lariat begins at $46,275. Now, we added a lot of extra features here. All total was more than $13,000 worth, including that Power Stroke turbo diesel and the $1,195 destination fee. All told, this truck comes to $68,115. Yeah, that's a lot of money, but then again, Ford F-150 Platinums, for an example, are going for roughly that same amount, and you're getting much more truck here as well. And speaking of trucks, there are a few different trims that you can get in the Ford F-350 lineup. You have the base XL, XLT, the Lariat, which is this one here, King Ranch, and the Platinum. So again, very similar to the F-150 trims. And this is only the mid-range one. You want something even more luxurious, there's the King Ranch and Platinum. So it's just sort of funny as to how much more extreme these Super Duty trucks can get. And I think this Lariat one here, I do like that Ultimate Package you can get. It has some nice features there. For $68,000, this is actually, for what it is, a good price. I think it is a fair price. So what do I like about this? Well, it's it's just a great truck, and in fact, it's got even more torque than a Ram Super Duty. That only has 900 pound-feet, and this has 925 pound. What don't I like? Well, honestly, not much. It's just expensive and it's massive. You do feel like you're driving a big truck, even though it's a very smooth drive. You know you're in something big, and if you're gonna buy this, I'll tell you right now, and I'm pretty much stating the obvious here, you're gonna need a properly sized garage in order to fit this in. And this exterior here, it's painted and magnetic. It's got these 18-inch wheels, chrome bumpers, and I like that 2-bar chrome grille. It's got a pickup box with tie-down hooks, power sliding rear window with defrost and privacy tint, spare tire and wheel lock, tow hooks, power scope mirrors as you saw. It's just the complete package. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have seen these trucks on the road from time to time, and in case you haven't, go to your local Ford dealer and just take a look at one, because you just sort of have to appreciate it. You don't see too many of these overseas, and sometimes overseas, militaries actually buy them from Ford because, well, there's a lot of uses for them too. Oh, and by the way, towing. Maximum towing capacity here, 21,000 pounds. Maximum payload, 6,540 pounds. Wow, like I said, this is a big truck. But I'm out of time for today, everyone. Thanks for watching. Any more questions for me, just leave them in the comment section below. Any suggestions for future unboxing reviews, also leave those in the comment section. And I'll see you next time.